There is a secret living inside more marriages than anyone wants to admit. It is not an affair. Nobody is sneaking around behind anybody's back in a hotel room. From the outside, these couples look completely normal. They share a bed, a last name, a mortgage, a future. They post the anniversary photos. They mean every word of them, and yet one of them is hiding something from the other. Something that, if it ever came fully into the light, could crack the whole thing open. It is a secret about money. Maybe it is a credit card the other person doesn't know exists. Maybe it is a debt that has been quietly growing for years. Maybe it is a bank account with a balance one spouse would be shocked to learn about. Maybe it is just a habit. A steady drip of spending that gets carefully hidden every single month. Researchers have a clinical name for this. They call it financial infidelity. And here is the part that should stop you. In survey after survey of married and cohabiting adults in the United States, roughly 2 in 5 admit to keeping a money secret from the person they share their life with. 2 in 5. Look at the next 4 couples you know. The odds say almost 2 of them are carrying this right now. So today we are going to do something most finance channels are too uncomfortable to do. We are going to talk about the money secret hiding inside the average marriage. Why people do it, even good people who love their partners. What it actually costs, which is almost never the money itself. And the strange twist that researchers keep finding, where the same exact behavior, hiding money, comes from 2 completely opposite places in the human heart. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you are going to understand something about money and trust that will change how you look at your own relationship and maybe your own habits. Let's start with a couple. We'll call them Mark and Laura. On paper, Mark and Laura are doing fine. He is 41, she is 39. 2 kids, a house in a decent suburb, a combined income of about $140,000 a year. They are not rich, but they are not drowning. They have date nights. They laugh. By every visible measure, they are a normal, functioning, happy family. But Mark has a secret. About 3 years ago, he opened a credit card that Laura doesn't know about. It started innocently. He wanted to buy a set of golf clubs he knew she would think were too expensive, and rather than have the conversation, he just put it on a card she would never see. It felt easier. It felt harmless. It was his money, too, he told himself. He earned it. But the card didn't go away after the golf clubs. It became the place where all the purchases he didn't want to explain quietly landed. A gadget here, a dinner with the guys there, and slowly, almost invisibly, the balance on that secret card climbed. Today it sits at around $11,000, and Laura has no idea it exists. Now here is what I need you to understand, because this is the whole point. Mark is not a villain. He is not a gambler or a cheater. He loves his wife. If you asked him, he would tell you, honestly, that he would do anything for his family. So why does a good man hide $11,000 in debt from the woman he loves? To answer that, we have to talk about the psychology. Because financial infidelity almost never starts with money. It starts with a feeling. The first and most common driver is shame. Money is one of the most shame-loaded subjects in human life. We are taught quietly that how much we have and how we handle it is a measure of our worth as a person. So when someone overspends or makes a bad financial decision or simply can't control a habit, the feeling that follows isn't just regret. It is shame. And shame doesn't make people confess. Shame makes people hide. Mark didn't hide the debt because he is dishonest. He hid it because every time he looked at that balance, he felt like a failure, and admitting it out loud to Laura would make the failure real. The second driver is control, or really, autonomy. Some people grew up in homes where they had no say over money, where every dollar was monitored, questioned, controlled. As adults, they crave one corner of their financial life that is theirs alone, that nobody gets to approve or veto. The secret account isn't really about the money in it. It is about having one thing that is just theirs. The third driver is fear. Fear of judgment, fear of a fight, fear of disappointing someone. For a lot of people, hiding a purchase isn't an act of betrayal in their mind. It is an act of avoidance. They are not trying to deceive their partner so much as they are trying to dodge an uncomfortable conversation. The lie feels smaller than the argument. And the fourth driver is the deepest one. the one almost nobody sees. We each walk into our marriage carrying a money script, a set of beliefs about money we absorbed in childhood, usually before we were even 7 years old, usually without ever being told them out loud. We learned them from watching our parents. And here is the problem. Two people fall in love, move in together, merge their lives, and they almost never stop to realize that they have merged two completely different, completely invisible sets of money rules. One grew up in a house where money was openly discussed. The other grew up in a house where money was a tense, secret, dangerous subject you never brought up. They don't have a spending problem. They have a translation problem, and neither of them knows it. So you take shame, autonomy, fear, and two clashing childhood money scripts, and you put them inside one shared bank account. And financial infidelity isn't surprising at all. It is almost predictable. Now let's talk about what it actually costs, because most people assume the damage is the money. It isn't. Yes, the $11,000 matters. Debt at credit card interest rates, often above 20%, is a genuine financial wound. But that is not what destroys couples. What destroys couples is the trust. Researchers who study marriage have found something striking. When they look at all the things couples argue about, money, in-laws, chores, parenting, intimacy, one of those topics stands out as the single strongest predictor of divorce. It is money. Couples who fight about money early and often are significantly more likely to split up than couples who fight about anything else. And financial infidelity is money conflict in its most concentrated, most corrosive form because it adds the one ingredient that poisons everything: deception. Think about it from Laura's side. The day she finds that card, and she almost certainly will because these things almost always surface eventually, the $11,000 will hurt. But that is not what will keep her up at night. What will keep her up is the question underneath it. If he hid this for 3 years, what else doesn't I know? Every shared decision, every "we can't afford that" conversation, every budget they built together, all of it suddenly has an asterisk on it. The money can be paid back. The certainty that her partner was telling her the truth cannot be so easily rebuilt. That is the real cost. Financial infidelity doesn't just drain an account. It quietly removes the floor of trust that a marriage stands on, and it does it so slowly that neither person notices until the floor is already gone. Now here is the twist, the part that makes this genuinely fascinating, and the part nobody talks about. We have been describing Mark, who hid debt out of shame. The overspender, the one who got something and concealed it, and that is one face of financial infidelity. But there is a second face, and it is the exact opposite, and it lives in the very same house. Because Laura has a secret too. About 2 years ago, without telling Mark, Laura opened her own account. And every month, quietly, she moves a little money into it. Not a lot, a few $100s. It now holds around $14,000, and Mark has no idea it exists. Now stop and notice something. Laura is not overspending. Laura is saving. She is doing the thing every financial expert would tell her to do, and she is still hiding it. Why? Because for Laura, the secret isn't about shame, it is about fear. Laura grew up watching her own mother get financially stranded after a divorce she never saw coming, left with nothing, dependent, trapped. And the lesson 7-year-old Laura absorbed, the money script that got written into her before she could even understand it, was this: never be without your own money. Never be completely dependent on a man. Have a way out, just in case. Laura's secret account isn't a betrayal of Mark. In her mind, it is a life raft. It is the thing that means she will never be her mother. She isn't hiding it because she did something wrong. She is hiding it because admitting she has it would mean admitting she doesn't fully, 100% trust that the marriage will last forever, and saying that out loud feels like a betrayal in itself. So look at what we have. One house, one marriage, 2 secret accounts, the same exact behavior, hiding money from a spouse, coming from 2 completely opposite places. His is shame and overspending. Hers is fear and self-protection. He is hiding a problem. She is hiding a solution. And neither of them has any idea the other one is doing it at all. This is what researchers find again and again. Financial infidelity is not one thing. It is a whole spectrum, running from the secret debt that comes from losing control all the way to the secret savings that come from quietly preparing for the worst. And what unites all of it, the overspender and the saver, the shame and the fear, is the same single failure. Not a failure of math, a failure of conversation. In both cases, a feeling got too big to say out loud, so it went underground and turned into a secret. And once you see that, you start to understand why simply telling people to just be honest about money almost never works. You can't logic someone out of shame. You can't budget your way out of a childhood fear of abandonment. The secret isn't a math problem sitting on top of the relationship. It is an emotional problem hiding underneath it. So what actually breaks the cycle? It starts with understanding that financial transparency in a marriage isn't really an accounting practice. It is a form of intimacy. Telling your partner the true state of your finances, the debt, the fear, the bad habit, the quiet savings, the childhood that shaped all of it, is one of the most vulnerable things two people can do. It is the financial version of taking off the armor. And the way in is almost never a confrontation. It is a conversation that starts with the feeling, not the number, not "I found the card," but "What did money feel like in the house you grew up in?" Because when two people finally say their money scripts out loud, when Mark can admit that the debt is really about feeling like he isn't providing enough, and Laura can admit that the secret account is really about a fear that has nothing to do with Mark at all, the secrets lose almost all of their power. They stop being betrayals. They become things to solve together. That is the reframe I want to leave you with. Most people think the goal in a marriage is to never have a money secret, but that is the wrong target because secrets aren't the disease. They are the symptom. The real goal is to build a relationship where the feelings underneath the money, the shame, the fear, the inherited rules from a childhood neither of you chose are safe enough to say out loud before they ever have to become a secret. Because here is the truth that the surveys and the divorce studies are all quietly pointing at. The couples who last are not the ones who never feel shame about money, or never feel afraid, or never disagree about a dollar. Those couples don't exist. The couples who last are the ones who learn to put the secret on the table before the secret put a crack in the floor. Mark and Laura are still together, by the way. In the version of this story that ends well, one of them finally gets scared enough, or tired enough, or honest enough to start the conversation, not the fight, the conversation. And they discover, sitting at the kitchen table with two secret accounts laid bare between them, that they were never actually enemies. They were just two people, each protecting themselves from a fear the other one never even knew they had. The money was never the problem. The silence was. So here is the only question that really matters, and it is one worth sitting with tonight. In your own life, with the person you share everything with, is there a number you have never said out loud? And if there is, ask yourself honestly, not what the number is, but what the feeling is underneath it that has kept it a secret for so long. Because that feeling, not the money, is the thing your marriage actually needs you to say.